Coast Shire Council celebrates the opportunity to embrace and empower the Aboriginal and Torres Strait Island communities in their diversity. West Coast Shire Council will create opportunities for future recognition and respectful partnerships that will honour the traditional owners and custodians and Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples. We know that a lot of First Nations people will be hurting today. We know that for many Australians, the pain they feel will linger, and for others, it may last a long time. In speaking of the Victorian First Peoples Assembly, a representative body for Aboriginal Victorians, Victoria's Premier said, it is a model with bipartisan support. It has proven to be an effective way for Aboriginal Victorians to get to have a say and for us to work together towards reconciliation. We have a lot more to do, of course, in health, education, employment, housing and justice. We'll keep working towards a stronger, fairer future for Aboriginal Victorians, led by, shaped by and driven by Aboriginal Victorians. Here at Bass Coast, we will continue to support the state-led approach. Call on Councillor Lang to read the councillor statement, please.
All members of this council pledge to the Bass Coast Shire community to consider every item listed on this agenda based on the individual merits of each item without bias or prejudice, by maintaining an open mind and disregarding councillors' personal interests so as to avoid any conflict with our public duty. Any councillor having a conflict of interest in an item will make a proper prior disclosure to the meeting and will not participate in the debate or vote on the issue.
Thank you, Councillor Lang. There are no apologies, no declarations of interest, which brings us to the confirmation of minutes of the council meeting held on the 20th September 2023. I have a councillor to move and one to second. Councillor Ellis and Councillor LaServe. Those in favour? That is carried. We also have a second lot of minutes, which council meeting held on the 4th of October 2023, seeking a motion that the minutes of the council meeting held on the 4th of October 2023 be confirmed. Councillor Ellis and Councillor Tessari via Whisker. Those in favour? That's carried. Mayor and councillor reports. Basically, we'll continue the practice where my report will be included in the minutes of the meeting, as has become the practice with councillors, but I will step out of that to make one comment on behalf of councillors, to acknowledge that Councillor LaServe was awarded a 10-year service award at the MAB a dinner last Thursday night. I was there and she shined, as you would expect. And congratulations, Councillor LaServe.
Thank you. Thank everybody for their support as well. Thank you.
Well deserved. Public question time. I've had a request to move public question time to the end of the meeting. Councillor Tessari needs to leave the council meeting for personal reasons. Councillors, can I have a show of hands if you agree to that change in the agenda? That is carried. Which brings us to no notice of motions or petitions. Brings us to reports requiring a council decision, which first have off the rank in this regard, the annual report 2023-2023. And I will introduce and move the annual report. Is the councillor to second that report? Councillor Halstead. So in moving that report, I'm pleased to present the 2022-23 annual report showing outstanding performance from council this financial year. In 2022-23, Bass Coast has had to deal with and manage a difficult external financial environment, which has been characterised by high inflation, rising interest rates and a slowdown in the property market. The year-end results reflect the success of a number of financial strategies that were put in place to respond to these challenges. This includes the establishment of a capital advancement fund to mitigate supply chain and pricing pressures on the capital works program, an ongoing focus on cost containment, including stringent financial targets, and an enterprise agreement outcome that has limited wage increases to half the inflation rate. Council has also continued to advocate for funding opportunities to maximise its capacity to deliver an expanded community capital works program. Council is reporting a $27.4 million operating surplus, which is $25.2 million more than budget, and has been underpinned by increased grants revenue and developer contributions. Council's balance sheet remains strong with 65 million in cash and investments, a strong working capital ratio of 1.5 to 1 that indicates its ability to meet financial commitments as they fall due, and over 1 billion in long-term infrastructure, land and building assets. Financial results have been audited by the Auditor General, who has indicated they will receive a confirming audit opinion. Some achievements to highlight for this year are awards for Best Place Base at the 2023 Parks and Leisure Australia Awards of Excellence for the incredible work on Guide Park, Wonthaggi. Partnership between Bass Coast Shire Council and Hawthorn Football Club, where more than 3,000 people came together to witness the VFLW and VFL teams showcase their skills, as I understand, for the first time in this area. Hosting the Women Leading Locally Forum to support and inspire women to become community leaders. Recognition at the Victorian Tourism Awards Council Gala Awards ceremony, being awarded gold in the Local Government Award for Tourism category. Endorsement of Council's first urban forest strategy as the community works to mitigate climate change by protecting and growing our natural vegetation. Celebrating International Women's Day with a community event honouring inspiring women and cultural diversity. Over 150 community members gathered at a special sold-out event to explore how to further embrace diversity. Becoming one of the first councils worldwide to use climate change risk data to predict the potential impacts on council buildings and how to manage these risks in the newly adopted Building Asset Management Plan 2023-33, sorry. Decades used. First ever Bass Coast Community Awards were held to celebrate those that made a positive contribution to the community. We had a number of people this year, and it's a wonderful event out at the RACB Club where we honoured their contributions. I'm so proud of all that we have achieved together over the last year, and thank my fellow councillors for their support, and also council staff for all their hard work over the past 12 months. Councillor Holstead.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. Reading these reports can come down to perception. Is your glass half full or half empty? There are those who will see truly incredible achievements, and then those who will find things that could be improved or, dare I say, perceived as failures. This is the world we live in today. Glass half full or empty? Under the stewardship of Mayor Councillor Whelan, like him or not, he is knowledgeable in the climate emergency space, and we should be proud of the progress our city has made here. With the adoption of the urban forest strategy, investment in electric vehicles and sustainable infrastructure, and continued education in how our community can contribute to the target of achieving net zero emissions, there has been significant progress made. Thank you, Mr Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Holstead.
I haven't finished.
Oh.
That was just about your stewardship.
Oh, okay. Is there anything more about me?
The resilience of our local businesses should be celebrated, as it was at the annual Bass Coast Business Awards, and let's not forget the selfless work of passionate residents who were rightly acknowledged at the Bass Coast Community Awards. Council's community grant program is well supported by councillors and has again delivered some exciting local projects. With my Western Port Ward councillor hat on, I am pleased to see our community groups received in excess of $100,000 for local projects that directly benefit our community and are delivered by our community. Our officers should be proud of what has been achieved. Many who are local and others who live close by, they are mums, dads, daughters and sons, not just a voice on the other end of a phone. They are passionate and have worked hard to deliver programs that aim to build the local economy, reputation and community pride of Bass Coast. Bass Coast should also be proud of the record-breaking capital works delivery that has seen, for example, the new Guide Park Play Space, Guy Road Pathway, Burnaneet Cultural Centre, Pickles' new home, new Wonthaggi Tennis Pavilion, just to name a few. Is there more to do? Absolutely. There's always more work to do. Did we get it 100% right? I don't believe we did. The results of our community satisfaction survey tell us that. So how do we improve these results? I would suggest by continuing listening, not only to those who have the loudest voices. Over the next 12 months, we need to put our heads down and do our best to improve in those areas where our community feels we have let them down. It's no use putting our heads in the sand and pretending there isn't discontent. We need to listen closely and act. I, for one, intend to do exactly that, and hope that at the delivery of the next annual report that we see an improvement in community satisfaction, because after all, this organisation exists for them. I would encourage our residents to read this report for themselves and consider, in the context of the current economic climate, what has been achieved by this organisation in the past 12 months is well worth celebrating. Thank you, Mr Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Holstead. Apologies for hyphenating your report. Any other councillor wish to speak? Councillor Lasserve.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. I'd like to reflect on the farming and agricultural industries in Bass Coast, which contribute about $243 million to our local economy. But they also contribute to the vista of Bass Coast that enhances our attractiveness to tourists and to our communities by their green outlook, by the spaciousness of our farmlands. And I think that this really aligns with our visitor economy strategy and aids our tourism. I thank the officers for the report. There's a lot of detail in the report, and I take what Councillor Holstead has said, and for people to read that and look at the things that we have achieved as a community. Because when I first came to council, there wasn't a lot in the Capital Works program for the community. And now we have certainly delivered on a large number of projects. There is more to do, but I'm sure that together we can get there. So thank you, Mr Mayor. I appreciate the report.
Thank you, Councillor Lasserve. Any other councillor wish to speak? If not, I'll put that report. Those in favour? Carried. 8.2 WCAC Design Award. Ms Taylor to introduce the report, please.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. The purpose of this report is to present to Council the outcome of the quotation process for renewal works at the Wonthaggi Union Community Arts Centre. The works include an upgrade of the box office and kiosks, toilets, office, improvements to disability access, lighting and wayfinding. A decision of council is required as the cost of the works exceeds the budget allocation by more than 20%. It is recommended that council approve awarding the quote. Thank you, Mr Mayor.
Thank you, Ms Taylor. Can I have a councillor to move and second, please? Councillor Rooks and Councillor Lasserve. Councillor Rooks.
Thanks, Mayor Whelan. It's always unfortunate that we have to spend more money than we want to, and especially when it's been a budget allocation. But these are necessary works that need to be done, so we can maintain our regulations within the building. So we recognise there's an increased cost. What I probably appreciated was that we didn't just accept the increased cost, but council officers went off to the trouble of getting the people back for further information, tried to flush out exactly what was required, what could be left out, and through that process, the prices came back a bit cheaper. So it was good due diligence that we did, and it's just unfortunate we have to spend a bit more.
Thank you, Councillor Rooks. Councillor Lasserve.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. I think it's WCAC's a very important asset to our arts and culture in Bass Coast. I consider the increase reflects those additional items being identified that do not meet current Australian standard building requirements. So I think this is imperative that we do it regardless of that cost, but I'm pleased that the officers have been monitoring the process and really investigating that we do adhere to what the Australian standards say.
Thanks, Councillor Lasserve. Any other councillor wish to speak? If not, Councillor Rooks, do you wish to we put that resolution?
To the resolution.
We put the motion. Those in favour? That's carried. That brings us to Partnerships Policy and Framework. Mr Box to introduce the report, please.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. The purpose of this report is to seek endorsement for Council's Partnerships Policy and Framework. Partnerships are a key instrument for Council to deliver quality outcomes through strong community collaboration. The framework seeks to create a structure to enable equitable access, good governance, and to ensure Council and our partners are effective in achieving the maximum value for our community. It's recommended that Council endorse the Partnerships Policy and Framework. Thank you, Mr Mayor.
Mr Box. Councillor to move and second, please. Councillor Holstead and Councillor Rooks. Councillor Holstead.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. It was surprising to me to learn that Bass Coast Shire did not hold a partnership policy and framework prior to now. In my view, it is one of the most important policies a council can hold. giving direction on how ratepayers' funds are allocated outside the organisation through partnerships, and monitoring the benefits of those investments is critical to ensuring positive outcomes and goes to the heart of good governance. Our community would rightly have an expectation that council does this in all its dealings. I look forward to the policy coming back from community consultation, and I would like to see, as part of any further recommendations, a regular partnerships report provided to council outlining how those partnerships were monitored against the evaluation criteria and the benefits to the community. Thank you, Mr Mayor.
Thank you, councillor Holstead. Councillor Rooks.
Yeah, I'm really pleased about this policy. This policy says council will continue to support community partnerships into the future, and they'll do it even better. Better in terms of governance, accountability and transparency. I was one of the councillors that were a little bit concerned during the consultation phase for this policy around exploring the current partnership we have with all the other groups and their reactions to the knowledge sharing. However, this was did not come to fruition, this concern, and the group saw benefit in opportunities of clearer guidelines and processes. I was really pleased with that process, and it was a really good outcome. There's two other points I wanted to make. The one is that I think since COVID, the volunteerism has dropped off significantly. And so I hope this policy can work out ways to try to encourage people to remain involved in the community. It has to be done differently than it has done before. And also I'm pleased that with these operational policies that we bring into place, that we're going to look at a budget allocation. So all that good work that's been put into fruition, we're going to keep that moving, hopefully with the budget application in next budget. So I hope that does go ahead.
Thank you, councillor Rooks. Any other councillor wish to speak? Councillor Holstead, shall we put that?
Yes, please.
Those in favour? That's carried, which brings us to 8.4, award of EOI for leases for provision of early years management service. Ms Borley, to introduce the report, please.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. This report presents the outcomes of an expression of interest process to determine the preferred tenants for the operation of early years management services in North Wonthaggi, Wonthaggi and Coronella, and concludes the statutory process under section 115 of the Local Government Act 2020. Early years services are vital to our community, and this process ensures that quality providers have access to facilities that enable them to deliver valued services to the community. This report recommends that council award lease agreements to Bass Coast Children's Centre, Incorporated, White Tenders and Uniting Victoria and Tasmania Limited. Thank you, Mr Mayor.
Thank you, Ms Borley. Councillor to move and second, please. Councillor Lang, and I'm not sure, we'll give that to Councillor Lasserve. Councillor Lang.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. This expression of interest process was very long in the making, and there was considerable amount of consultation with the service providers who were the original tenants of the lease prior to the expression of interest process. I think that it's fair to say that at the start of before it even went out, that there was some trepidation within the community around the process for the leasing. But I'm really delighted with the Bass Coast Children's Centre in particular, the committee there, and also I think I might be speaking out of hand a little bit, but Bass Valley Children's Centre as well, who worked incredibly well to collaborate and understand the process as fully as possible. I also wanted to acknowledge that the two organisations that have been awarded the tenders are basically run by a team of incredibly passionate women volunteers. These women dedicate countless hours of work to actually provide vital children's services and enrichment services to the children of the Bass Coast. I'm really delighted that these organisations have been selected to have the leases, and in particular that Bass Coast Children's Centre has been given a 9-year lease. I think the terms will allow them to have really good ability to plan forward, and I think that they've also invested an incredible amount of funds, and council has as well, and as well as the state government. Bass Coast Children's Centre has done an incredible amount of work to make their services environmentally sustainable as well. So these tenders are definitely well deserved, and I'd like to congratulate everybody who was involved in the process.
Thank you, Councillor Lang. Councillor Lasserve.
I've got nothing further to add.
Nothing further to add. Any other? Thank you. Councillor Tesari? You're on mute, Brett, but it's a long time since I've had to say that.
Stop smiling, Councillor Lark. Look at him. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. If I can just echo a lot of the comments just made by Councillor Lang. It's quite rewarding when you do get a community group that reach out to you, quite concerned about what's happening, and you can work with that group, and the staff can work with that group to come up with a fantastic result. So it's good to be sitting here today, assured that the community groups are both very satisfied with what's happened, and to think moving forward now they have a little bit of security. So a good result and well done by all. Congratulations to our staff as well.
Good on you. Thank you, Councillor Tesari. Any other councillor wish to speak? If not, are you happy to put that, Councillor Lang?
I just wanted to.
Want to add a bit more, all right?
That the expressions of interest process is a rigorous procurement process undertaken by council officers. So these awards of the leases and the tenders have actually been done with incredible amounts of due diligence from both of the organisation as well as council officers.
Thank you, Councillor Lang. We'll put that. Those in favour? That's carried. Brings us to statutory reports. Can I have a council move that agenda items 9.1, 9.2 and 9.3 be considered as a block? And a seconder, please. Councillor Tesari, Councillor Ellis. Those in favour? That's carried. So does a councillor wish to start again? Does any councillor wish to speak or discuss any of the reports? No, then we'll seek a resolution that the recommendation attached to agenda item 9.1, 9.2 and 9.3 be adopted. That's Councillor Ellis and Councillor Tesari. Those in favour? That's carried. There is no urgent business notified, so that brings us to question time.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. If I can, I'll take the opportunity to leave the room.
Thank you, Councillor Sari. Okay, first question is Fred Morris, Bass Coast Shire Civic Centre. What is the asset value of the Civic Centre of the Bass Coast Shire? The forecast lifespan for each building that makes up the Civic Centre of the Bass Coast Shire. The CEO for response, please.
Through the Mayor, the 11 buildings that make up the Bass Coast Shire's Civic Centre have a net book value of $6.67 million. Noting that the depreciation for each building is broken down by the components within the building assets, the total lifespan for each of the buildings is 100 years. The estimated remaining useful life for each of the buildings is 69 years, with the exception of the Civic Centre Infrastructure Building 4, which is now being used as the Country University Centre, which has a remaining life of 85 years.
Question 2, Kevin Griffin, The Voice. Bass Coast Shire Council formally supported a constitutionally enshrined voice to Parliament for First Nations people. Will Council now advise the community all details as to what clear, credible information the voice to Parliament, all aspects of the referendum Council provided to the Bass Coast community? Will Council now provide to the community details of all costs, including in-kind costs incurred by Council in supporting a constitutionally enshrined voice to Parliament for First Nations people? The CEO, please.
Through the Mayor, the Bass Coast Shire Council supported the voice to Parliament for First Nations people. Council's position was articulated through public statements and formal resolutions that are available on Council's website. There were no additional costs associated with this support.
Question 3, Graham Jolly, Phillip Island Recreation Reserve Master Plan. The Phillip Island Recreation Reserve Master Plan has short, medium and long-term time periods for 35 projects at $115 million. Long-term financial plan 2031 to 30, it's not right. But anyway, it says 2031 to 2025 and forms long-term capital works projects 2021-2031, which does not align with the master plan Cowes Aquatic Centre. Please explain why.
Through the Mayor, the Phillip Island Recreation Reserve Master Plan represents a long-term vision for the reserve and has broken the projects to be delivered into 3 different delivery categories as noted. Long-term projects are expected to be delivered over a 20-year timeframe rather than the remaining 7-year medium-term window of the long-term financial plan. Funding allocations and projects in the long-term financial plan are reviewed annually to take into account environmental changes, including government funding, cost escalations, emerging priorities and opportunities.
Question 4, John Tribe, mayoral election. For the sake of community engagement and council transparency, would the council consider conducting mayoral elections at an open council meeting and have it live streamed to enable ratepayers and residents to observe how the factions line up?
Through the Mayor, mayoral elections are already conducted during an open council meeting and are live streamed. The next mayoral election will occur at the November 2023 council meeting.
Question 5, John Tribe, Surf Beach Sunderland Special Charge Scheme. The decision made by council as posted on Bass Coast Engage to abandon the Sunderland Bay and Surf Beach Special Charge Scheme were Bass Coast councillors advised of this announcement prior to the release on Bass Coast Engage?
Through the Mayor, yes. Councillors were advised prior to the release on Engage Bass Coast.
Question 6, Mel Pinkerton Granville Emergency Evacuation Site. Would council inform the location of an emergency evacuation site if or when a bushfire occurs in the township of Granville?
Through the Mayor, in the event of a bushfire, residents will receive notifications regarding the Emergency Relief Centre, or the ERC, location. The specific ERC site is determined based on the characteristics and location of the emergency. In accordance with the established statewide approach in all local government emergency management procedures, the Bass Coast Shire does not proactively disclose the precise locations of ERC sites before an emergency occurs.
Question 7 is Mel Pinkerton, car insurance. How much has it cost council for comprehensive insurance for the 6 electric cars in 2022-2023?
Through the Mayor, council's fleet insurance covers multiple vehicles as part of an all-inclusive policy. It is not based on individual vehicles in the fleet. In 2023-24, council's total premium for its fleet of 90 vehicles, including the 6 electric vehicles, is $91,500.
Question 8, Mario Boffa, Vernon Eat. Approximately how many people will be attending the initial opening of Vernon Eat in Cowes on Saturday, the 28th of October 2023?
Through the Mayor, Vernon Eat will be opened with multiple activities, including a program launch, exhibition and library opening, and community activities from the first week in November, with over 1,000 people expected to attend. A community ballot is currently underway for attendance at the program launch on November the 1st. On Saturday, the 28th of October, there will be a brief civic ceremony with approximately 40 people to open the centre.
Question 9, Kim Lightfoot, topic social housing. What is council's understanding for social housing for people seeking very low cost housing? Is it retirement villages, aged care or other?
Through the Mayor, social housing is either public housing, which is owned and managed by the state government, or community housing owned and or managed by an agency regulated by the Victorian Housing Registrar or a not-for-profit organisation. For more information, see council's affordable housing strategy located on council website.
Kim Lightfoot, Municipal Strategic Statement. Council Strategic Planning consists of the year 2003 review of Municipal Strategic Statement, which is 20 years old. When will council consult to review this very old Municipal Strategic Statement?
Through the Mayor, in accordance with state government directives, the municipal planning strategy contained in the Bass Coast Planning Scheme was replaced by the Planning Policy Framework and Municipal Planning Strategy in 2021. The most recent review of the Planning Policy Framework and Municipal Planning Strategy was adopted by Council in 2023 as part of the Bass Coast Planning Scheme review. The next review will not occur until 2025-26.
Gina Rosamilia, Councillor Travel Expenses. On the 16th of August 2023, Council reported travel expenses to 30th June 2023 for all councillors totaling $105,157.99. Will council please provide an itemised detailed listing of all travel expenses costs for each councillor?
Through the Mayor, council currently reports expenditure incurred by each individual councillor for each quarter as well as the term to date. Expenses are reported in 3 categories: travel, professional development and other. An itemised travel expenses list can be made available for viewing by appointment.
Next one, Melissa Day, Vernon Eat. Vernon Eat is a new modern building in Cowes. How much is going to cost for the building to be a certified passive house?
Through the Mayor, initial passive house certification is part of the current design and construction contract and there are no ongoing certification costs.
Minister Dag, Cowes Carnival site zoning. When did council seek to have the land zoning for council-owned lands comprising of 2 lots of land known as the Carnival site in Cowes to be rezoned to allow recreational activities, including an aquatic centre?
Through the Mayor, council has not rezoned this land.
Okay, that brings us to the end of the meeting, and the next council meeting will be held on the 15th of November 2023 in the Bass Coast Civic Centre, Council Chamber, Beaulieu Street East, Wonthaggi, commencing at 1 p.m. Thanks very much for attending, for those in person and also for those viewing our virtual council meeting. Thank you, councillors. That's the end of the meeting.